I bought a 15-inch MacBook Pro from 2018 on eBay, and I paid $499 for it. Yes, you heard me correctly. $500. Look, somebody's got to be the guy that spends $500 on the Intel Mac, and I've just decided for it to be me. Now, you may be wondering, why? Brayden, why did you spend $500 on an Intel MacBook Pro? Intel sucks. Buying an Intel Mac when the M chips exist is crazy. You could have got an M1 MacBook Air. You're stupid. Well, my answer to you, reasonable folks who do have a valid question, is because I wanted to. So, a little backstory here. For the past 7 years, I have been using a 13-inch MacBook Pro from 2017. Non-touch bar version, to be specific. As much as I love this thing for being my first ever MacBook, it is definitely a piece of shit. Why? So just so you know what I was dealing with before in this 2017 lovely MacBook 13-inch MacBook Pro, it had a 7th generation Intel i5 7360U, which is about 2.3 gigahertz base, turbos up to about 3.6 gigahertz, also goes up to about 1,000 degrees. It does have 2 cores and 4 threads, which, woohoo! 4 threads is really great. It had a sad 8 gigabytes of RAM and a little screen. So I decided to buy this bad boy. Now I am going to plead my case here a little bit just to help you understand why I purchased this, kind of walk you through my thought process. If you still don't understand by the end, I would recommend maybe just leave a like just so you can really demonstrate how confused you are. Just leave a like and just move on. But anyway, for one, this laptop is stunning. It's beautiful. I bought it in perfect condition with a brand new battery. Literally had 1 cycle on it. And since I mentioned the battery, I'll just go ahead and say this one has a 7,336 milliamp hour battery, while the other MacBook, the 13-inch I had, was a 4,315 milliamp. That sounds like a big difference, but in real life usage, it's actually minimal because this 2018 is driving a way bigger screen and more powerful components. So the actual difference is not as big as it sounds, but it does last a decent amount of time, I will say. We have this large, beautiful, gorgeous 15-inch Retina display. We have our touch bar, which I now have access to, which I previously did not. So you may be wondering, what are my thoughts on the touch bar? Am I a touch bar fanboy? Clearly I must be, since I went and spent $500 on an Intel Mac on eBay with a touch bar. Well, the truth is, I really don't have any strong feelings about the touch bar. It is a touch bar. It does exist. It is something that is on the laptop. But I just don't have any strong feelings about it. Overall, I think it's a cool gimmick. It's there. It's functional. It does what I want it to do when I want it to do it. Haven't had any weird issues, so I'm happy with it existing. I know many watching this are also thinking, now why did you buy that MacBook with the butterfly keyboard? It's awful and unreliable. To which I say, okay, that's a valid concern. Nobody likes the butterfly keyboard, to be 100% clear. Do I love it? No. But I don't necessarily hate it either. And to be fair, this does have the 2nd generation butterfly keyboard with the silicone membrane, which helps to keep the debris out of the keys, unlike the previous generation, which I did have. If you didn't already know, this was one of the main complaints because people would get their Cheeto dust all in the keys, and then the keys would basically just be pressed down forever, never to come up or be clicked again. People also hated the short travel and how loud and clicky it is. My 2017 had the OG horrible butterfly keyboard, but I did get lucky. I never had any issues with it. My keys were never pressed forever. I was not a fan of the keyboard, but I lived with it. This 2nd generation, I will say, is a little quieter. It's a little nicer to type on, and I do like it overall better than the 2017 keyboard. Now this 2018 MacBook Pro has an 8th generation Intel i7 8750. That is a base of 2.2 gigahertz with a 4.1 gigahertz boost speed. It does have 6 cores and 12 threads. You can definitely feel the difference compared to the 2017. This thing is very snappy and fast even today. This one does also have dedicated graphics as a Radeon Pro 555X alongside Intel UHD integrated graphics 630. So this MacBook is noticeably faster and more powerful than my 2017 trash book. It's running current macOS software compared to my other one, which was stopped at Ventura. I'm sure Apple's going to cancel it for this one too, but I guess we're just going to have to see. It did get a multi-core score of 5853 on Cinebench. I don't know what that means. I'm sure somebody down below will tell me if that's ass or not. Really don't care, because it's very snappy and plenty powerful for what I want to do with it, which, to be clear, is not much. I'm a browse, stream, lightly game kind of guy. And when I say light, I mean very, very light, because I have a gaming PC with a 12600K and an RX 6700 XT for when it's time to really play some games. So gaming is not a top priority for this thing. Another complaint about this generation of MacBook that a lot of people have is that they have bad thermals, so high temperatures, thermal throttling, that kind of thing. I haven't ran into that too much. Right now I'm editing this video and watching some YouTube and like running dual monitors, and I'm sitting at about 65 degrees. So that's not too crazy. I do use max fan control to manually turn the fans up to the max, just because I don't really think Apple does a good job of knowing when it's time to crank the fans up. So I do that just so I can not let my CPU explode. The only time I have really seen it get hot or even seen the CPU usage go above 100 or even above 70 was when I was running a benchmark, obviously, or when there was one time I had it connected to multiple monitors, I was emulating a game, and I was in a Discord call, and I was streaming my screen. So yeah, that kind of pushed it. But other than that, this is not the kind of computer that just idles on the home screen at 79% CPU usage and 100 degrees, which, to be clear, that was my 2017 MacBook Pro. Oh, and when I say I use max fan control to turn the fans all the way up to full blast, that is not all the time. That's just when I know I'm going to be doing something that's going to kind of push the CPU and I know it's going to run a little hotter. But when I'm just using this regular day-to-day usage, it doesn't get hot. The speakers are good and loud, which is to be expected. This is a 15-inch, so I expect them to be better than the 2017, which they obviously are. So here's some crab rave just to prove that to you. So the theme here pretty much is that everything about this computer, literally every single thing, is better than my 2017 MacBook, which I have already sold immediately. I actually sold the 2017 MacBook Pro and my 2014 MacBook Air that I featured in a few videos. Sold them both as a package deal for about $450. So if we're being real here, I'm actually only out about $50, which is totally worth it for me. I really love this MacBook. I find it very likely that I can get at least 2 to 3 or maybe more years of usage out of this before I feel the need to invest in an M-chip MacBook, which I definitely would love to do. But for now, I'm going to go ahead and be an Intel Mac guy. So if you enjoyed this video, please leave me a thumbs up. If you have any suggestions, I got more videos in the future. I got some ideas brewing in this brain, so we'll see what I pump out. But thank you for watching. Hope you have a great night.